So, the last matchup in the divisional round, we have the surging Philadelphia Eagles going up against everybody's darling this offseason, the New Orleans Saints. Now, everybody loves Drew Brees. Everybody loves Drew Brees. He's been fantastic. He's a stand-up guy. You know, he's as good as Brady, but not a jerk. I mean, who doesn't love that? You know, I'm not a Saints fan. I am a Drew Brees fan. Guy's great. He is a different animal in the Superdome. All right? In that dome, with that crowd, he plays like his hair's on fire. And that's what you want out of your playoff team. That's what you want out of the leader of your team. So, home field advantage was an extremely, extremely important thing for the Saints, and they got it. Philly has captured lightning in a bottle with Nick Foles at the helm. I'm sorry, Philly. I really am. You have a very tough decision this offseason between keeping Foles, letting him go. Carson Wentz, is he injury prone? Do you move on from him and keep the guy who's won you a Super Bowl and gotten you into the playoffs when you shouldn't have made it and won a game against the best defense in the league? Personally, I think production matters, and most importantly, production when it matters. So, I think you should keep Foles, move on from Wentz, use him as trade bait. You'll get a first rounder out of him, maybe two. So, that's just my humble opinion. But, in this matchup, who's given 8 points to the Eagles? Seriously. Right now, after the last few games we watched, with them laying it on the Rams and beating the best defense in the league and the Bears, really? You're giving them 8 points. Any betting man, put your money on the Eagles, okay? They're not that far off from the Saints. But the Saints are winning this, all right? They are an all-around team. Much better than what the Bears were, okay? The Bears' offense was quite lacking, and the Eagles' defense was able to take advantage of that. They're not going to be able to do that against the Saints. Michael Thomas will be able to just do anything he wants against a very weak secondary for the Eagles. Oh, and by the way, Drew Brees is throwing the ball, so anybody who is a valid receiving option on that team can potentially ruin the defensive secondary of the Eagles. So what they need to do is get after the quarterback. But since they also have a running game, and Ingram and Kamara have been so successful behind that offensive line, they're not going to be able to just focus on going after Brees. Conversely, they don't have great names on defense, but the Saints actually do have a pretty good defense. The Eagles have a better offense than what the Saints' defense is. And they'll be able to score points. They will. They're just not going to be able to keep up. The Superdome means a lot to this Saints team. They have it through the whole playoffs. I think that their coaching is even. Peterson and Sean Payton are both offensive-minded coaches that are really good at what they do and good at motivating their teams. Quarterback, obviously we're giving the edge to Drew Brees over Nick Foles. I mean, I love Nick Foles. I do. He's done great things in these playoffs and last year's playoffs. And he deserves a much better job and paycheck than what Philly's giving him. But Drew Brees is the stuff of legend. All right, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the game. And he's done it in the playoffs too. So the Saints are winning this. They're just not beating the spread. All right? Put your money on the Eagles to beat the spread. You'll thank me for it later, but yeah, the Saints are going to win this. They're at home. They're advancing. They're going to take it home to New Orleans. And enjoy watching it, Saints fans, because this is going to be a special playoffs for you guys.